you ready? Let's go.
When you're feeling bothered and your spirit's low, your friends have turned their back and there's nowhere to go. Don't shed a tear, 'cause God will give you hope. If you're curious, then turn on. The Late Show with your number one man. Hope will light your heart. The Late Show, watch it 'cause it can. This is the Late Show, starring Matt the
All the way from the land down under, from the heart of Melbourne, the most livable city in the world, the land of the kangaroos and koalas. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please welcome the one and only Matt the Man.
Good evening and welcome to another episode of The Late Show. I'm Matthew Unan, and tonight I wanted to talk about everyone's favourite topic. And no, I'm not talking about how awesome Matt Unan is. We're talking about that R word. Yeah, that's right, you guessed it, relationships. They say diamonds are a girl's best friend, but that's only until the girls meet me. I'm like that diamond in the rough, except I'm not rough, I'm smooth. So, in society, you see that boy meets girl, boy likes girl, boy asks girl out. Hopefully for his sake she says yes and the rest is history. They live happily ever after or not, and they break up and find someone else. However, word on the street, word around the church has it that it's a bit different. A guy needs to finish high school, go to uni, complete their degree and work for a couple of years before they can even think of getting into a relationship. However, relationships between one individual and their partner are not the be-all and end-all. We also have relationships with God, our family and our friends. In fact, when you come to think of it, our whole lives are based on relationships. I know I'm the relationship guru, but I don't want to reveal my secrets. So, I'm delighted to be joined tonight by a gentleman who's helped countless youth over the years ask the people they like the tough questions and also help people build their relationships. I speak of the one and only Peter Bullock Senior. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please make him feel welcome?
Hi Matt, how are you? How are you going?
Good, thanks, Pete. How are you doing?
Very good, enjoying it. It's a great day, beautiful night, it's fantastic.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for taking the time to join us tonight, Pete.
Thanks Matt. It's a pleasure.
Thanks. Now, Pete, we all know that dating relationships can be quite difficult to initiate sometimes. So, what advice have you got for people who are looking at beginning and, I suppose, looking at the dating scene to help them begin a lifelong companionship?
I think it's important just to put yourself out there, you know. So many times, even as guys, you know, we just sort of think, oh, she'll never sort of want to date, or she'll never want to talk to me, or who am I to talk to this person, or look at the group of people that she's around, they're all very popular, etc. But you really don't know what she's actually thinking. You don't really know what, you know, her intentions are, or, you know, or what she might think of you. So I think it's important that you know, just like we're all human beings, and you know, we've all got feelings and we've all got emotions, and I think it's important that you don't put yourself down and you sort of just go out there and talk to that person, see that person out, you know, get to feel that person, and then sort of then you can make a judgment. Well, is this person right for me? And if so, I don't see why, or I don't see the harm in actually just sort of asking, you know, how about we go out for a cup of coffee? I just find you're a very interesting person and I'd like to get to know you a lot better.
Yeah, it's funny that you mention that, because I suppose dating scene can be, like we said, sometimes, I mean, you said it can be pretty easy just asking someone for out for a cup of coffee.
Oh, it's not easy, but it's, you know, I've always thought in my head, like probably like you, like many people, you know, I've always complicated things in my head. But
is she out of my league?
Yeah,
is she,
absolutely, yeah.
Is she interested in me?
Yeah, and no one wants to feel rejected, and it's not so much, and that's the thing, it's not so much a rejection, is it? It's more so, well, that person may not see themselves with you, so you're better off knowing then than later on, and that's a fair thing. But sometimes we take it another way,
yeah.
And you know, sometimes our emotions get the better of us, and we take it really hard. But later on, God has, you know, somebody in mind for everybody, and you know, at times when I've been through situations where, you know, I've really liked this girl and I've, you know, made the approach, didn't work out. I look back now and I think, you know what, thank God, because that wasn't the right person for me. What I've got now is the right person for me. So You know what I mean? Sometimes we may not see it then, but in the future you will see it, you know? Yeah.
I mean, you touched on a really good point that God has someone for everyone.
Absolutely.
On that notion, do you think, what are your thoughts on online dating, for example? Can you find the right person for you online? I know there's even some Christian dating sites like Christian Mingle and Coptic Match, for example.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on them?
Well, the fact is that I think
Sometimes it's hard for people to meet someone.
absolutely, it's hard for people to meet somebody, and we've all got busy lives now, and we can't stop technology, we can't stop social media, we can't stop any of that sort of stuff. So I think it's not a bad idea to really embrace it and sort of say, okay, use it, to benefit and to meet new people, etc. So I don't really see the bad part about it. I just got to be in the side of caution in the sense that you can post something about yourself that could be partly false. That might not be true, you know what I mean? Everyone puts their best side on those things, all right? And I just worry sometimes that some people might just look at that profile and say, oh yeah, now that person's perfect for me. But in actual fact, that person can be very different, you know? So I guess it's probably a good way to maybe, find out more information about them and then get to know each other really, really well. And that's the key there. Really, really, really get to know that person.
Yeah.
All right? But if that's the way you met, I don't see it's a bad thing. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So like what you're saying is the online profile could be a bit of a mask.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. We know. I mean, most of them are. No one's going to tell it, no one's going to put in their profile that I'm a complete psycho, you know what I mean? They're going to obviously put in their profile that, I'm this, I come from this family, or I live here, and all that sort of stuff. And, as I said, I guess it's a good way to meet, but I wouldn't take it as this is exactly what this person is, because you don't know until you actually really meet the person, and you don't know until you really sort of have a relationship with the person for quite a while. I mean, I'm 7 years now, married, and I'm still learning things from my wife. So,
you learn things every day.
Absolutely, yeah.
And like I touched on in my intro, our whole lives are really based on relationships, not just dating relationships.
Absolutely.
But relationships with our family, our friends.
Relationships
God.
at work, relationships, obviously number one is God, and then if you got that right, then you got relationships with family, you got relationships at work. We underestimate relationships, are basically, that's a human need, okay? Whether it's a girl, whether it's a work, whether it's all the rest of it. And I tell my students it's so important to have a relationship at work, in the sense that obviously worker, employee, and all that sort of stuff, relationship. I say it's so important because it's not what you know till you know. And that's it. That is exactly what the workplace is. It's not what you know, it's who you know. You know what I mean? If you know how to build the right relationships with people, you can move up very, very quickly in an organisation. But if you can't, all right, you might be the smartest person on the face of this planet, you won't go anywhere, because you need to build that relationship. It's so important.
Yeah, and just on that, with our families, sometimes we feel overwhelmed and we don't spend enough time with our families. And what advice have you got for people who want to spend a bit more time and have stronger and closer relationships with their families?
It's obviously it's essential. I mean, family is who we are, and we are what we are because of the environment that we've lived in all our lives. So, my father always said to me, he said, if you want to judge a girl, or if a girl wants to judge a guy, it goes both ways. If you want to judge a girl, always look how she treats her parents, because how she treats her parents is exactly how she's going to treat you. You know what I mean? Because in the beginning of a relationship, it might be all lovey-dovey and all the rest of it, and she might laugh at your sick jokes or whatever it is, and be very kind and generous. But then she goes home and she's really nasty to her parents. I can guarantee you that that's exactly how it's going to be when a few years on, when you're married. You know what I mean? Because that is that person. And if that is how she treats her parents, who she loves, that's how she's going to treat you. So. And the other way around, if she treats her parents with a lot of respect, it's exactly how she's going to treat you as well. So the family environment is vital, and what her parents think, and sitting down for her parents and being honest with her parents and saying, this is my intentions, very, very important. Now, as a father, I've got 2 little girls, I know they're babies, but I'd want the person that comes, to start, I guess, dating my daughter, I'd want that person to be completely transparent, because that person, my daughter's a part of me, part of my family. She is me. You know what I mean? So, you know, and you always want the best for your children. So, but I think family life is really, really important. And I know that more now that I'm a father than I did when, you know, I guess when I had no children, I took it for granted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How can we sort of juggle, obviously, sometimes in life, social media?
Yeah.
Things like Facebook and
Yeah.
everyone's got like MSN or whatever these days, you know what I mean? And often you come home, you want to spend time online. You don't really spend. Sometimes we don't spend enough time with our families. How can we juggle those priorities? Like, I suppose juggle the fact that we've got our own personal life and our own online things that we want to do, and yet spend time with the people that matter to us.
Yeah, it's so difficult. Social media has now completely taken over I've never seen, and people have no time for anything. Like, as a teacher, I look at students, and the minute students have an opportunity to check their phone, they are straight into their pockets checking their phone, Facebook, all the rest of it. When I was a kid, I used to get on the bus, and we used to just, you know, cause havoc on the bus and the D Park bus, and we used to just cause havoc, and, you know, because we were bored, you know what I mean? So, you know, we used to shout, scream, and the poor bus driver, he didn't know how to handle it. But today, you look at the students on the bus today, every single one of them is staring at a phone.
Yeah, and people are becoming antisocial.
Absolutely, totally silent, totally engrossed in what's happening in that phone.
Yeah.
That's it, or music, or whatever it is. So it's completely taken control of our life. So I personally, I don't like, for example, for me, when I go visit my parents or we go visit my in-laws, I don't like taking my phone out. I just think it's rude. Because we are there for them, and you just imagine you going over to visit your parents, and your parents take out their phones and start playing with their phones while you're sitting there. You know, how would you feel? So I think it goes both ways. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, sort of, I guess you've got to sort of allow some time, you know, with your family and just talking to your family, etc. And even just, you know, switching the TV off for a little while and just, you know, talking as a family. And I think that's really important. But even for example, my daughter this morning at church, you know, said, "Dad, can I play with your phone?" No, we're in church. You know what I mean? We don't do that. You know, right now, we pray. And that's it, you know. And sometimes some people are really tempted because they think, oh, the poor person's bored, you know, and they keep them quiet. But it's just not right. I think we've got to...
There's a time and place for everything.
There's a time and place for everything, you know. No matter how young that person is, they should learn that, you know, we're in church, this is God's time now, this is God's space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great point there. And it's great that you mentioned that, obviously, because that's what I was thinking with, you said it's God's place, God's time. And that, obviously, at the end of the day, is our most important relationship in life.
Absolutely.
God is our number one,
Yeah.
right? So some people have written in and asked, how can they build on that, on their relationship with God? What advice have you got for people watching us tonight who want to have a stronger and closer relationship with God?
It's faith and works, all right? You can have the faith, that's fine, you know what I mean? But there needs to be works as well. So, you know, going out there into the community, maybe helping out, or going out to, let's say, for example, you know, in Hallam and going visiting the old people, for example, you know what I mean? That's a way of you know, being a good Christian, you know, that works. And it could be, you know, maybe doing a youth meeting every now and then, or even doing something like this, you know, whatever, you know. We've taken so much from the church. The church has made us who we are today, and sometimes it's sad to see some people not giving enough back to the church. We've got to give back to the church as well, and I think that's what God wants, you know. God wants us to be a community that helps each other, and when we do that, I think that's when we're actually giving back to God, and we're giving back to Christ, you know, because, I mean, let's face it, Christ's got everything, you know. There's nothing we can give that's really, you know, monetary-wise, for example, that could ever repay what he's done for us.
Yeah.
But
he doesn't need us.
Of course not.
We're the ones who are in need of him.
We need him, exactly. But, you know, but we should be the hands and arms of Christ here on earth, you know what I mean, and basically help whoever we can help, and that's what's important, you know. There was a good story I heard in France where a bomb in World War II hit a statue of Jesus, and in this town, and it basically broke the arms of the statue. Right, there was the community were basically talking and saying, oh, what should we do? Should we rebuild the arms and all that sort of stuff? And then the priest there said, no, I think we should leave it the way it is. And basically this is this message that we are the arms of Christ. We are the ones Christ wants us to be, to help out and to be, his representatives here on earth. So I think it's important that we do, even just the small things, it doesn't have to be big, just small things, helping out the person whenever we can, or helping out the community whenever we can, and just doing nice things. That's, and even Christ said, if you just give a glass of water or just some water to one of these little ones, it's accounted in heaven. It's, you're doing it for me, So that we need to take that message and really, make example of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. That's a really nice story. Thanks for sharing it with us.
No worries.
And thanks a lot for your time tonight, Pete.
No worries. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks
Very
a lot.
good. I love the setup too. And thanks for bringing me out here in the city and discussing these important topics.
No worries.
Yeah,
Thanks
excellent. Good on you.
Thanks for that, Matt. So we thought we'd get through a few emails tonight from the plethora of emails that we've got. Now, Mark from Melton says, I like a girl. She's gorgeous, sweet, caring, and most importantly, I think she'll bring me closer to God. The only thing is, I'm afraid she's out of my league. What should I do? Well, Mark. Buddy, the first thing you've got to understand is that she's not out of your league. If that's how she views herself, then she's pretty big-headed, and the question for you, my friend, is, do you really want someone like that in your life? Secondly, you said that she'll bring you closer to God. Now that's fantastic, but is she really religious, or are you just trying to convince yourself of that? All right? So, best of luck with that. Our second letter came from Andrew, who says, how do I know if a girl actually likes me and if she's actually interested in me? Well, you never will, and they usually never are. So, no, just kidding. All right. Sorry to break it to you, buddy, but there's something you're probably never gonna know. And look, girls are a tough species to figure out, and so don't try. But what we can do is we can give you some tips, and if you ever happen to gather enough courage and ask the girl out, and she says any of the following, unfortunately, she is not interested. Things like, you're like my brother, you don't stand a chance, mate. Or, I don't want to stuff up our friendship, and you're thinking, what friendship? Well, once again, she's trying to be nice about it, don't bother. Other things include, I want to get closer to God first. Let's be friends. Are we related? And I'm just busy focusing on my studies at the moment, and I really don't have time for a relationship. She probably is just with us, and some other bloke has beaten you to it. Also, I just came out of a relationship, not a good sign. And the best one of all, it's not you, it's me. So, wish you all the best of luck, and let us know how you go. And finally, Alex has emailed us and is asking for some advice on how he can ask the girl of his dreams out. Well, we thought we'd give him, we don't have any advice for that, but we thought we'd give him some pickup lines that he could probably use to approach his dream girl. The Late Show would like to advise you that these may or may not work. Good luck anyways. Now I know why Solomon had 700 wives and 300 concubines. He never met you. Must have hurt when you fell out of heaven.
Only Satan fell out of heaven. You're going to need that kit once I'm done with you.
The Bible says, give drink to those who are thirsty and feed the hungry. So, how about dinner?
I'm on a diet, thank you.
But the Bible. Look, you're nearly 22, the time is ticking, most Christians are already 3 years into marriage by now. Just settle for me.
I'm waiting for Mr. Right.
Hello, I'm Mr. Right. I heard you were looking for me.
You don't give up, do you?
Okay, how many times do I have to walk around you to make you fall for me?
Like when they walked around Jericho and the wall fell down?
Yes.
Keep walking.
Okay, so those pickup lines clearly didn't work for me. However, for those of you game enough to try it, good luck. And if you want some other advice, be sure to watch pre-marriage programs on CYC to really know how it's done. God bless you, and now we're off to our Catch of the Week.
So tonight's 5 tips are: remember that relationships are important in all aspects of life. Give them time and remember that trust is crucial to the success of any friendship or relationship. When dating or courting someone, get to know the person well enough to avoid any disappointment or heartbreak in the future. One marriage counsellor once said that if he had only 30 seconds to give a couple advice, he would say, get to know each other. Realise that love and marriage do not change human nature. In other words, what you see is what you get. If you enter into marriage blinded by physical attraction, you will be rudely awakened not long after, when the full character of your spouse becomes evident. As His Grace Bishop Musa always says, when it comes to relationships and finding the right partner, it's important to pray a lot, think a lot, and feel a little. The reason being, if you get caught up in the emotions and feelings, then they tend to get in the way and you won't be able to think clearly. Someday, someone will walk into your life and make you realise why it never worked out with anybody else. Don't be afraid of rejection, it happens to the best of us. And the right person will love you and accept you for who you are. They're just waiting for you to come along. So that's my catch for the week. Back to you, Maddie.
So guys, as we've seen tonight, relationships constitute a big part of our lives. We have relationships with family, our friends, our partners, but most importantly, we have a relationship with God. All relationships require work and time. They often require some compromise. And most importantly, they require love and trust. If you love something or someone, you'd want to spend time with them. So wouldn't we all want to spend time with God? In John chapter 2, God blessed the wedding at Cana of Galilee, and marriages are sacred. So unless you're certain that you want to spend the rest of your life with this person, don't waste each other's time, because you'll only end up hurting each other. As Pete mentioned, don't be afraid of rejection, because it happens to the best of us. So, thanks again for joining us tonight. We hope you enjoyed tonight's episode, and make sure you tune in next time, because God willing, there'll be another enthralling discussion. Until then, on behalf of our whole team, take care, God bless, and have a great night.
Are you ready? Let's go.
Okay, how many times do I have to walk around you to make you fall in love with me? Sorry.
That was alright, it was fine.
The Bible says, give drink to those who are thirsty and feed the hungry.
I'm on a diet. Oh, sorry. Sorry. I'm sorry. And you told me.
Okay, how many times...
Sorry, I'm sorry.
Okay, how many times...